Hey, you're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling in from?
My name is Mike, and I'm calling from Austin, Texas.
Mike from Austin. Uh-oh. This better be good, Mike.
Yeah. Well, I'm a Bama fan. You know, there's a lot of Bama fans out here in Texas, but I can tell you that as far as the local chatter goes here around Austin, you know, the Longhorns, they really feel that they can go in and win the game, and possibly they can. I mean, it's yet to be seen. They seem they have the right attitude, and they have the players to do it, and the quarterback to do it. Because you got to have a quarterback to beat Alabama. So that's just kind of the vibes I'm picking up here. But
what is the water cooler talk? What are people talking about when they're eating some of that amazing barbecue in Austin? Why do I get this sense? And why does, I guess, some of the world of college football, like I've seen people saying Texas is going to come in here and beat Alabama by 10 points. I think someone from On3 said that recently. And I mean, why do they feel that they can just come in here? Like, what are they saying? Why? Is it the quarterback play? Is it because Alabama hasn't solidified the quarterback position on a piece of paper? What's the mindset in Austin? Why are people so confident when talking about Texas coming to Bryant-Denny Stadium to pull off the dub?
Well, mainly because of the Texas Longhorns quarterbacks. You know, like I guess this Quinn Ewers, I think his name is. They're really big on this guy, and he's had an excellent spring. And you know, in the past, the only knock on Quinn Ewers was he really wasn't a team leader. He really didn't do the things he needed to do. But he's kind of turned the page, and I think he's taken his team leadership to another level because he cut his mullet off. He's got, you know, that's neither here nor there, but he's taken his leadership more. And then the second and third team QBs they have as well. You know who the second guy is, of course, the Manning kid, and they got this other guy that was highly recruited that's playing. So they've had a really good spring, and then they have good skill position players as well, like two of the best running backs in college football they're going to field, and good quarterbacks. They think they match up well, and you know, as well as and they think they should have won the game last year. Between you and I and the rest of the YouTube world, Kyle, I think that Bama played one of the worst games that they played all year last year. They had 15 flags on them for 150 yards. Texas Longhorns had 4 flags thrown on them. I mean, so Bama played a horrible game, and if not for the heroics of Bryce Young, you know, Texas might have won that game. So they think they can get it done because how they think they should have won last year. If not for this call, if not for just one more flag on Bama, and we'd have won that game. So they were so close last year, and it was close, and they didn't get it done. So they think they match up well, you know. But the answer to the question, the short answer is Quinn Ewers. That's why they think they can win. And the other 10% is maybe some uncertainty in our quarterback room, although I don't think there's a whole lot of uncertainty there. But that's why they think they match up well. And you know, Steve Sarkisian, he did something great when the second year. I think this is the second year, but he solved the culture problem at Texas. Because, you know, when Steve Sarkisian got here, Texas kind of had a culture problem a little bit where some of the team didn't want to sing the anthem for, you know, their school song for one reason or another. And players had trouble of, you know, buying into the program and didn't believe in the coaching and such. So they're over the hump right there. Everybody has bought into the program here, from the fans to the players to everybody's bought into the program. So when Texas gets going all in one direction, they're a powerhouse team, and that's the bottom line right there.
All right, one more thing before I move to my next call. We're on with Mike from Austin. How monumental would this win be for Steve Sarkisian and for Texas? This, in my opinion, this would be the biggest win that Texas has had within, you know, I don't know, like in many, many years, because Alabama, like Texas, they have a large brand, right? Up there with Alabama, but they don't have those marquee victories that Alabama does as of late. This would be Texas' Super Bowl. It is their Super Bowl, regardless of what happens. They beat Alabama. That is going to send Steve Sarkisian into one of those ridiculous, like $350 million deal. They'll pay him whatever. Well, he'll $1 billion, right? You finally beat Alabama. How monumental would it be for Steve, for Texas, for Austin, for everybody, if Alabama is really to be beaten at home by Texas?
Well, like you say, this is their Super Bowl. And beating Alabama is a benchmark to where you're at in your program. But it just, in my personal opinion, Kyle, it's kind of a double-edged sword for them. And this is why. Because if they beat Alabama, all these Longhorn fans are going to say, well, we should have beat Alabama. We got the better team. We got the better QB. We should have beat Alabama. And they really shouldn't. But if they lose to Alabama, they're going to be, oh, there we go again, back to where we are. We can't beat nobody. We ain't arrived yet. So it's really a fine line they're walking, just in my opinion, between winning and not winning. But it's just a benchmark to where they feel they have finally arrived back on the college football stage, because ever since the playoffs have gotten here, the Longhorns have never made the playoff. But not only that, here's a fact for you: the Longhorns haven't won the Big 12 since 2009. So I'm talking over 12, 13 years. They have been down, man. They have been down, and they're really hungry to come back and make, to their golden era of the Texas Longhorn days. They're ready to get back to it, and they feel they're closer than they've been in a long time, and they're motivated because the Big 12 commissioners talking smack, telling all these other teams to go out and beat the Longhorns, send them out with the loss. So they're motivated to do so. But yeah, man, this is their Super Bowl. It would mean a lot to them, yeah. But because it'll feel that they finally, able to compete with, just like LSU and Tennessee. I mean, it's a benchmark for them. But to my opinion, Kyle, double-edged sword for the Longhorns, because they're not like Alabama fans, but they're not really. Bama fans are pretty dang loyal. I mean, heck, we survived the Mike Price days, the Dennis Franchione days. We survived, the Mike Shula days. Well, Shula wasn't too bad, I guess. I don't know, but these guys, they're not as they're a little more fickle than we are. So I hear that they got a lot of pro ball. We ain't got that in Bama, man. We ain't got. But anyway, I'm glad the season's here, man. Last year was such a heartbreak because Bama was one of the best teams in college football. The only team that could probably compete with Georgia Bulldogs and didn't get their chance to do it just because of TCU Big 12 runners-up goes and plays and gets humiliated, and because of Ohio State privilege. Well, Alabama doesn't get in there. So that last year was such a disappointment. But anyway, man, that's I enjoy your show. Stay strong, man. Roll Tide. And starting tomorrow, I think we got 5 straight days of college football. So the season is here, brother, man. So
all right. Well, thank you. Yeah, good call, Mike. Appreciate it, man. It's Mike calling in from Austin. All right, we'll go right back to the phone lines. We got a 409. We'll take it right away. Hey, you're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Hey, this is Mike, first-time caller from Galveston, Texas.
All right. Is it Mike from Texas?
Yes, sir, from Galveston, Texas.
Texas.
City, down south.
All right, man. Go ahead, Mike. Take it away, man.
Yes, sir. So I'm a Longhorn fan, first-time caller. I think the reason why Longhorn fans feel good about the game, it's one and the same as Milroe. We don't think he can beat us throwing the ball, and we don't think y'all have the outside weapons to take advantage of our secondary.
Yeah, well, thanks for calling.
Y'all have always, go ahead.
Go ahead, Mike. No, finish out, man.
No, we were saying 2 years ago, y'all could just out-talent everybody, especially when Shark was the OC. We just don't feel like y'all can out-talent. Y'all have very good players. They're going to be NFL players, but y'all don't have 3 and 4 first-round wide receivers, first-round quarterback, and 2 first-round running backs. I think the O-line is going to be pretty good, which we take that. Our D-line is going to be pretty good, but we think at the end of the day, y'all don't have the outside weapons or the quarterback to beat us.
Yeah, that's a good point. And thanks for calling in, Mike. I really appreciate the perspective coming in from Galveston. When you look to this game, let me ask you something, Mike. Do Texas fans feel that they would have beat Alabama if Quinn stays in that game last year for 4 quarters?
In my biased opinion, I think we do. And if they would have called it safety, I think we beat y'all too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a crazy play by Bryce, right? He's like throwing it like upside down or however he threw the ball. That was crazy. I felt that Steve Sarkisian. Yeah. Go ahead.
How do you feel about that? Do you feel like we would have won if viewers didn't get hurt, or if they called the safety? How do you feel about that? I never asked a Bama fan that.
Yeah, I do. People get mad when I say that, but I mean, it's my opinion. I always tell the truth. Quinn, if Quinn plays for that game, the entirety, yeah, I think Texas wins that game. Alabama, and no disrespect to Texas, but 100% facts, Alabama played a terrible game. Texas is a good team last year, and they're going to be even better this year. It was difficult. The environment made it difficult for Alabama. The penalties, they were plagued with penalties last year in that game. And there was a lot of dropped passes. That's kind of when this whole dropped passes thing kind of started because it hadn't been like that ever at Alabama, right? Like no wide receivers, tight ends, drop passes. Last year against Texas, drop passes and a ton of penalties. And that was something that Alabama really couldn't shake off. The reason Texas didn't win that game was because Steve Sarkisian left too much time on the clock. I mean, you can't leave Bryce with like any time. And I get it from like your perspective. I mean, you guys are reading into the quarterback stuff and feeling like, there's not a quarterback that can compete at that level. You guys clearly know about Jalen Milroe. You guys know about Ty Simpson. And we know, Alabama fans know about the wide receivers and the quarterback. And I think that's going to be a great matchup is Alabama's secondary versus the wide receivers. What are you hearing about A.D. Mitchell and Xavier Worthy? I mean, is it just that those two guys, along with your tight end, who's amazing, by the way, is that where you feel that they're going to have a big advantage in that game is just those wide receivers with the tight end and Quinn?
Yeah, we have 5 returning starters on the O-line, and we have DJ Campbell ended up taking one of the starters from last year's job. We felt like we pass protected really well against you guys. And, of course, Anderson's in the NFL now. Y'all have Turner. And I feel like our tackles will do real good against y'all's D-line. Young's not there no more. He was as a D tackle. Well, I went back and watched the Texas A&M game yesterday. He was a monster. And A.D. Mitchell, from reports that everything that I've seen, is that he's looking better than Worthy has in fall camp so far. And then we have, of course, the tight end Sanders. And we also have a guy named Nair who came from Wyoming. He tore his ACL last year, who most people on most sites think if he would have been healthy, we would have won 2 more games because we just didn't have the weapons that Ewers needed. We tried to turn Worthy into a deep ball guy when that's not his game. And then they felt like we didn't use Sanders the way we needed to because we didn't have the wide receivers outside. So I feel like we'll be able to take, I guess we're going to try to pick on y'all's All-American freshman safety downs and see how he goes. But for everything I've heard, he looks like $1 million, and he's going to be probably first-team freshman All-American from everything that we're hearing on the Texas side.
Yeah, no, that's Caleb Downs. Yeah, I really like the play of Sanders. That guy is such a baller. I watched a lot of his tape last year and this year. I mean, the guy is such a tremendous athlete. Yeah, I mean, look, there's no doubt about it that Texas comes in with a lot of momentum. On the defensive side, let me ask you this. When you're going up against Alabama, what do you guys return on defense? And how do you feel about, kind of the way that last year ended on that last field goal? I mean, you have Jace who returns at running back. He had a big run against you guys, right? Busted out a big run. He is expected to be Alabama's featured back along with Roydell Williams. But in the secondary, do you guys feel that, on defense that you guys have enough to stop whatever Alabama's bringing? And that's the confusing thing is we don't know like Alabama's offensive identity. So I guess that's a tough question.
Yeah, I feel we lost 2 D tackles to the draft, and I feel like the 2 D tackles that's playing this year, if you look at Pro Football Focus, they were more disruptive, and they were just better players, but the 2 guys were older than them. We returned, our DN, We lost our other DN to LSU, but we basically let him leave because we have a better player. In 2 years, I think he had a sack and a half. His name is Ovu. I think he's going to be starting for LSU, which is kind of crazy. We feel like our secondary is the second most talented position on our team, but minus wide receivers. And I just think that we have an All-American linebacker and forward, and then we have a 5-star freshman in Hill that I think Alabama recruited for a little while that we ended up stealing from Texas A&M. I just know I've been a Texas fan for a very long time, and this is the most hype, and I believe in it. I haven't believed in it the last 7 years, but this is the most hype that I've seen since 2009. And I feel like we really have a shot to beat y'all guys in Alabama. I know it might not sound right because we've been down for a while, but I really feel like we have a good shot at beating y'all guys, week 2.
Thanks for the call. I appreciate it. Got another $100 super chat in here from Miss Reed, so let me take care of her real quick. I know this question has probably been answered, so don't spend too much time, but do you think this coming season will be the Alabama defense of the old? We can make up for a slower offense, ? Yeah, I think that's what people want to see is the Alabama defense of old. I mean, Kevin Steele comes in, 6 or 7 years old, and one of the best sound bites when he was talking about the Alabama defense was Coach Saban, the conversation was 5 minutes. Coach Saban's like, you understand what's expected here? And Kevin Steele said, yes. And this is an opportunity, when you get called up to coach for Coach Saban again, you take it. And he said the Bama defense hasn't gone anywhere. That's standard. He just said that college football has changed on the offensive side, which I totally get. So, yeah, look, there's no harm in having this excitement, Mike, for your team, because I don't necessarily think it is hype in any way. I believe Texas is going to be better than last year. And I think they are favored to win the Big 12. And I think the way that their schedule sets up, let's say that they do beat Alabama, if they can avoid a late season trap game against Iowa State, there's no doubt about it that Texas makes a run to make the playoffs. And they could very well see Alabama again. So, yeah, I'm excited about this matchup. Everyone's excited. I do have respect for Coach Sark, running the program. The offense has always been really good. I feel that he's the best offensive coordinator that Alabama had after Lane Kiffin, and he did such a great job here with the Crimson Tide. Anything else, Mike, while we have you on the line?
Yeah, quick question. Is Turner a better player than Anderson, in your opinion?
No, but he's not far off, man, honestly. So I was talking to someone who's very, very close to the program, and this was a couple years ago, and they were like, Dallas Turner will also be a top 10, if not a top 5 pick. And I was like, and I knew he was really good, but to hear that early, and that was from a couple years ago, look, William Anderson, I think is good. It's going to be tough to surpass William Anderson. I don't know if he has that athleticism that Anderson has, but he's not too far behind, which is crazy. And you don't throw away that lightly because he was just a number 3 pick in the NFL draft. And you see what William Anderson's doing now in the NFL. He's already crushing it. But Dallas Turner is 100% the truth. Kool-Aid, the truth. He'll get an opportunity to prove that, soon enough. But yeah, Dallas Turner is absolutely 100% the real deal.
Do you feel like y'all's pass rushers are going to be better than last year?
That's a good question. I don't know, man. I don't know. It comes down to, I guess it comes down to what Chris Broswell can do. So you have Chris Broswell, I'm not going to say the jury's still out on him. No, Chris is on the other outside. So your 2 inside linebackers for Alabama, you have Deontay Lawson. He'll be your signal caller. And then next to him is Tresman Marshall, who is a transfer in from Georgia. And then along kind of next to him, kind of like 1B is Jahad Campbell, but there's no depth chart out here. But yeah, those are your inside backers. Cool. Mike, thank you so much for calling in, man. Call in again next time. We'll continue to talk Alabama, Texas, and be safe. Enjoy the rest of your night, man, and call in again.
Appreciate you, brother.
All right, man. Take it easy. All right, Mike calling in from Galveston. Jonathan with the super chat, man. I appreciate you, John. Man, thank you so much. Roll Tide roll. I think Alabama will be just fine in the Texas game. Home environment, night game. Bill and Pete are both gone, and the GOAT is on the sideline. That's just it, right?